and then my own podcast called A Fresh Start. Yes, today's gonna be the first episode with Casey Redbeard, my former roommate.
Regardless of whatever they want to say, it's clear how everyone's interpreting this. Fresh is beginning the process of separating from Myron. This is the mark, truly the mark of the end of Fresh and Fit. Fresh Prince CEO dumps Myron over this.
Fresh Start. I just changed the channel. As you guys see the whole new name, A Fresh Start.
That boy done started his own. Okay. Started his own thing.
Like sports dynasties, but unfortunately, they all come to the end. The Patriots are not what they were after Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers.
Facts.
The 80s and 90s 49ers are no longer what they were back in the day, and neither are the 1990s Cowboys, and neither are the Los Angeles Lakers.
Definitely.
Time definitely brings about a change, and things happen, and people move on. People break up. People get older, and they drift apart. And nobody has drifted apart like the Fresh and Fit podcast. And I want to prove to you that Fresh is really going his own separate way. Fresh, if you didn't know, has changed his YouTube name from the Fresh Prince CEO to a new YouTube channel called A Fresh Start. And we're going to get into why he changed his name from Fresh Prince CEO to A Fresh Start. And there are a few different reasons why Fresh is now starting his own podcast without Myron Gaines. Reason number one, Walter, aka Fresh, is looked at as if he is a dummy and doesn't contribute.
Fresh is not like a threat. Fresh is tiny. Fresh is really a nobody, right? He's being carried and he's drooling as he's being carried. He's literally being
Bro, that's one thing I never liked is that Myron would allow dudes into the circle onto the podcast that would disrespect Fresh. Now, you can make the argument that Fresh is his own man and he should be able to stand up for himself. And sure, but if I had a podcast with somebody who was really my boy and I felt like some mutual associate we had whenever he was on the show, he would be disrespectful, I wouldn't invite that dude back on the show, right? And so we seen certain characters, reoccurring characters on the show that come on and disrespect Fresh, and I think that's playing a huge role into why we see this breakup happening.
Finish line, being dragged, and it's ridiculous because he takes 50%. That should be illegal for like Myron staying after hours, after the after hours, 10 hours to set up a show, and he's always working around the clock, and no one says that Fresh is just paying for strippers and doing nothing, and his networking is, hey, I have a clout from Myron.
I don't care who you are or what you are. If you honestly feel that you're a part of a duo and people devalue you and they believe that one person does all the work and you don't do any of the work, it's going to bother you. I mean, look at Eric Bieniemy. And
you know what? That might be the case. I mean, I don't think people are wrong when they say that Myron carries the show. He kind of does. I mean, not even kind of, bro does carry the show. And from the little glimpse that I've seen into how it works, he really does do way more of the behind the scenes stuff. Now, I don't know what Fresh does. I don't know how much of a role he plays in maybe bringing the chicks on. I'm not trying to say Fresh doesn't do anything. Every Batman needs a Robin. But if anything, this is exactly why this show should break up. It's just not, they're not compatible. You know what I'm saying? They've outgrown each other.
The former offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, he felt the same way. Like, hey, you know, everybody thinks that Andy Reid is the one doing everything on the offensive side of the ball. I need to go and prove myself somewhere else since I can't get a head coaching job. Well, we know how that worked out for Eric Bieniemy, right? One and done in the Washington Commanders, and then the next year, one and done as the offensive coordinator in UCLA. He did a terrible job both years. And his time, well, basically for being a head coaching candidate is done. But Fresh is also tired of that. I think that a part of Fresh wants to prove that he can achieve a lot without Myron. Reason number two, demonetization. While Myron is the one with the business acumen and the discipline, Myron also is the hothead, and he has different interests than Fresh, and that interest is running his mouth about things he can't change and participating in a great deal of hate speech. We already know that Myron is the reason why Fresh and Fit got demonetized, which hurt Fresh's income. But now Myron's behavior has gotten them demonetized on all their platforms. On X, for example. Let's look at this. On December 31st, the AF Post said, Myron Gaines and Fresh and Fit have had their verification badges removed along with monetization after criticizing Musk's stances on H-1B visas. Now, if you go to the Myron's page, he has a big following, but there is no badge. If you go to the Fresh and Fit podcast, there is no verification badge. But shout out to brother LTTV, he pointed out something that was interesting. If you go to Walter Weeks, you see the check mark, which means not only is he a verified account, he is also monetized on X. And this means that he can continue to make money on X while Myron and his content cannot. And the reason for that is Elon Musk looks at Fresh and Fit as different entities. Now remember, on YouTube, Fresh and Fit got demonetized all around. So Fresh's YouTube channel got demonetized, Myron's channel got demonetized, and everything they had together got demonetized. Which means that Walter doesn't have any opportunity, as long as he is dealing with Fresh, to do anything financially on YouTube. And let me just say like this, he's not gonna go and get a job again. He's not gonna go back into the private sector. This is his life and he has to make it work. And the only opportunity that he has to make it work is to start a brand that is different from Myron. Number
What
three,
would he do?
Myron
I just can't imagine though. What would he do? We need to go watch some vlogs on Walter's channel.
wanted to branch off and do other podcasts without Fresh first. So Myron is the one that basically threw the first stone. Now, Myron decided that he would go in with a few other people and do a podcast because he had different interests outside of talking about women. I don't know why he felt that people wanted to hear his opinions on geopolitics and, immigration issues, but he thought that he would, and he decided to get together with a few guys. These guys were going to be Nick Fuentes, Myron, and Sneeko.
Flying all, I think we're building a new. I think we're building a new alternate connection. I was talking about this with. I said I have nothing to say, but I mean, this is a good note to end on. Is like, working on this project with Fuentes, Sneeko, and Myron. Now we're working on this together, and we're talking about studios and PD and everyone. As I said, we're kind of going in a direction where we all have money. We're all pretty much set, and we're all in a good position.
Yeah.
So we're not really needing to work together to gain money.
Yeah.
Of course, we can all get, if we
we
gain
always
more
want
money,
more
great.
but we don't need it. That's why we can say be controversial.
No one needs it at this point. No one needs to make any money.
Elijah was going to host the podcast. He put all this time and effort into it. He invested thousands of dollars of his own money out of pocket, set up the studio. I mean, this was going to be big for him. This is for Elijah to host. It'd be a big deal for him because it's going to be a big show. It's like, and Sneeko pulls out at the last second and totally crushes the whole thing.
But unfortunately, this podcast didn't pan out.
Yeah, that was one of the wisest moves that Sneeko could have done if he wants a future on the internet. Listen, some people become toxic. And I don't just mean what they talk about on the internet. I mean, they're just a black hole of misfortune and bad luck. You'll notice for some people, shit is just always going bad, bro. Things are just always going wrong for them. People don't like him. People like that, bro, stay away from him. And it doesn't mean that that's who that person is going to be forever, right? A person can be in a bad season in their life, but you got to stay away from people like that, man. Even if they're friends, bro. Even if they're friends, you got to ask yourself, why is bad stuff always happening to you? They are the problem, bro. Because I don't believe in luck. I don't believe in curses. I don't believe in any of that stuff. Everybody is going to have L's and wins in life. That's normal. But if you see a dude and he's just constantly taking L's, there is something wrong and you will catch it. I've seen it happen. I've even experienced it to a degree, bro. You will catch it. And they misery loves company. So Sneeko did a real good thing, a real smart thing, and backing up off of that. You know what I'm saying? And you should do the same. It don't have to be on the internet. If someone in your life, bro, they're always failing in class. They always get cut from the team. They always get curved by the chick. It might sound harsh, but do you want to win or you want to lose? How do you want your life to go, bro? You only get one.
Now, as it crumbled before it even started. So that podcast was over and that opportunity was over. Number 4, Fresh doesn't want to talk about geopolitical things because, number 1, he has no real interest, and it also can get him demonetized.
But you don't like the controversial content that much, huh? Cost money is the problem.
There's no point to it.
Cost money. I mean, it's...
Yeah, but
listen,
there is no... It's
for-
not just about it costing money. What are you accomplishing, man? Going on and on about the Jews and on about, you know, black women. And it's like, what are we even accomplishing here?
The truth, but like reality speaking, once it gets shut down, no one cares.
Yeah, I know it's tough because like
They're gonna shut you down at some point.
Listen, nobody has ever surrendered power by you crying about it. In fact, whenever you cry about the powerful and their power, they just crush you. This is the case all around the world. You know what I'm saying? So even if what you believe about these people are true, you crying about it is not going to do anything but lead to your own destruction. If you're going to take power, it must be taken. And if you're not going to advocate for violence and all this stuff and be Nazi 2.0, well, then what you need to do is build up your own wealth and your own infrastructure and get your share of the pie, and then maybe slowly over generations. But like even thinking about that is unnecessary, bro. Just mind your business, focus on yourself. You know, whatever it is that you do, try to be the best at it or as good as you can be at it. And you know what I'm saying? Stack your money, spend it wisely, invest, and live your life, bro. You know what I'm saying? Take care of your parents when they get older. Life is not that deep. It really isn't. It's not that deep. It's not that complicated.
Banned and stuff, so it's
I'll put you in a
tough.
corner.
It's it's like what I
do?
enjoy speaking about. It's hard to get sponsors. Stuff starts getting pulled, and I said, I like to talk to all kinds of extremist content. Not like, but people don't like that.
The problem is, bro, is that like sponsors don't want it, companies don't want it, platforms don't want it. So at some point you're gonna be in a corner by yourself.
Fresh would rather talk about things that he's comfortable with, like girls, picking up chicks, very basic, silly things like that, which that's where he's at in his life, okay? He's like a guy who likes to go out, talk, drink, deal.
And that's not, I don't think those are silly things to talk about. There's a large audience of, you know, teenagers, young men, sometimes even older men who need the advice and the knowledge, who could benefit from getting some advice when it comes to game. You know, they could have just lived in that niche. Yeah, it was going to get old eventually. You can only be at the peak for so long, but that could have been a sustainable model. They could still be monetized on YouTube. And even if they were making half of what they were making at their peak, they would still be raking in probably over $1 million a year. But they had to throw it all away for Jews and monkey jokes. Great deal.
With chicks who are in the porn industry, deal with OnlyFans girls. That is what Fresh's life is around. And that's what he really wants to deal with. Things that are fun, things that are not controversial, and things that lead to booty clapping sounds. Number 5, Fresh starts his own podcast and rebrands it, and it calls itself A Fresh Start.
But the point is though, like, it's gonna be a brand new start, and I can't wait for you guys to see today's episode, and guys, an episode on Saturday actually, or Friday, whatever day we do it, with some other special guests.
The question is, a fresh start from who? You see,
like what do you mean a fresh start? Why wouldn't you just be continuing Fresh Prince CEO? What's changing?
The reality is Fresh needs a fresh start from Myron and all of the people that don't like Fresh that are associated with Myron.
Right.
Myron is toxic. Myron is not fun. Myron is full of hate. Myron is full of vitriol. And see, that's not what Fresh is about. Fresh wants to make money and spend it all on women and have fun. He's a lively guy. And to be honest, although that Fresh, in my opinion, is a person who is a sellout, I hope that he can get some kind of resolution with this. I think that him leaving Myron, he's not going to be that interesting because nobody wants to listen to Fresh. But even without Myron, he has a better chance of making his own money without Myron, because $0, which is what he's going to get dealing with Myron, anything is better than that. So he has no choice but to go out on his own, and eventually they're going to break up for good. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea.
Yeah, I really don't see though. I'm very curious to see. Let's check out Fresh's channel.
And then my own podcast called A Fresh Start. Yes, today's gonna be the first episode with Casey Redbeard, my former roommate and close friend. we're gonna be doing a breakdown of the truth about dating that no one told you about.
Okay, the truth about dating that no one's told you about. Fresh, you got this. Myron is the problem and always held you back, my G. This is a good format for Fresh. This is my prediction. Within a year, Fresh will do some sort of video with Abba and Preach, and it will consist of clowning Myron somehow, and it will be glorious. It's all up from here, Fresh. Dang. What? But you know what? There are a lot of people who are like, yo, Fresh, whenever you want to leave the plantation, we can sit down and talk. Meezy is one person who said that. I could for sure see Abba and Preach possibly talking with him. I don't know. It's definitely not outside of the realm of possibility. Fresh finally did it. Fresh is going to be big. You can't have emotional people that will F you up the bag like Myron in your circle. And so regardless of the message that Fresh was trying to push with this, a fresh start, regardless of whatever they want to say, it's clear how everyone's interpreting this. Fresh is beginning the process of separating from Myron. This is the mark, truly the mark of the end of Fresh and Fit. Well, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, guys. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.